What's up, YouTuber? I'm Valentin the Mad, and this is a Gore review of Operation Flashpoint Red River. Operation Flashpoint Red River aims for a combination of two things I absolutely love: a hardcore military shooter and gore mechanics. It does not deliver so much on the hardcore military shooter thing. The campaign is very linear and you barely have any room to maneuver. The AI is not very smart for the friendlies, but the enemy's behavior seems to be mostly scripted. The damage model seems promising on a first look, but ends up being very inconsistent.
Bleeding stopped. Done. Now get back into the fight.
And many other issues. But the main question in this video is, how is the game in the gore department? Let's find out. I'll be reviewing every aspect of the game's gore effects, and the score will be set based on 4 categories: body damage, environment, animations and sounds, the feel. As for the big mutilation, arms have 2 points of amputation. The leg has 1. You have several variations of the leg stripped of almost all flesh, and you have gory variations. 1 for the side, 1 for the upper torso, and 1 for the head. In theory, it's pretty awesome. We have quite a lot of variations, and they are very cool. Mutilated, unrecognizable faces, legs stripped of all flesh, a big hole in the side. The ideas are brutal, and I really dig it. However, there are a few issues. The first one is the looks. The detail is incredibly low. It's true for everything: the dismemberment, the variations, and especially the faces. You won't always have blood around the point of amputation or the variation, which makes the transition look very rough. The side and the upper torso variations can be activated only on the right side of the body. There are no variations on the left side. If you shoot the left side, a hole will appear in the wrong place. You don't have dismemberment or variations for friendly characters. However, the absolute biggest issue of all would be the activation. The dismemberment, the leg variations, and the upper torso variation can be activated only by 2 weapons: the M107 sniper rifle and the shotgun. So what do we have for explosives? You see only the side and face variations. I yelled at people, I shot rockets directly at them, and all I saw was those 2 responses. None of this makes any sense. The other responses could work perfectly fine for explosives, and many of those responses don't make a whole lot of sense for the M107 and the shotgun. I can guarantee both weapons won't strip the entire leg of flesh, leaving the bone intact. Both won't scrape the skin of the face. And while they will mutilate a person and totally ruin their day, the wound is not very likely to look like this. I should note that the game has an obliteration effect for characters who died inside an exploding vehicle. It looks absolutely awful and delivers terrible response. However, as I just mentioned, it will be activated very rarely. The other type of damage would be wounds at the point of impact. You see the entry and exit wounds, and the game will deliver different responses for hits on different parts of the body. For a hit on flesh, you see blood splatter. For a hit on cloth, you see a blood-soaked area around the wound. And the game seems to have different responses for hits on equipment. As you can see, the response for a hit on the radio was not a wound, and it seems that vests can't get soaked in blood either. However, the equipment responses are very inconsistent. I've seen red bloody wounds on backpacks. I've seen blood-soaked vests. I've seen blood-soaked helmets. I've seen a hit on a knee pad caused this hole, yet everything around the hole was soaked in blood, including the knee pad. So it seems that they were aiming for something very interesting here, but did not go with it all the way through, which results in some pretty odd responses. As for the blood spilling, there isn't any. The huge blood puff that can be bigger than the character himself leaves no stains. The game tells you that you're bleeding. No blood trails either. The game is called Red River. Definitely not for blood spilling effects. Well, will the bodies at least stay? No. There's a fairly small threshold of maximum bodies that you have no control of, so you will see them vanish right in front of you and only leave their gun. The guns stay though. All of them. You have response animations on impact, death animations followed by ragdoll physics, and a disabled state. The response animations are not bad and have some weight to them, but the death animations can be absolutely exaggerated and the ragdolls don't have a lot of weight. The disabled state, however, is awesome. It looks good. It can last for a pretty long while. AI characters will rush to help the wounded. You can finish characters who are in that disabled state, but if you let them die slowly, the disabled state ends with a brutal final breath animation. The thing that gets in the way of Red River being a fairly responsive experience animation-wise is the very inconsistent damage model. For Chinese characters, the functionality is solid for the most part, but for your teammates in the Insurgents, the damage model makes no sense. Insurgents can insta-die from a single leg shot. Friendly characters can survive headshots and keep fighting as though nothing happened. After surviving that headshot, friendly characters can be healed by the amazing magic medic bag and survive even more headshots. A slightly more forgiving damage model for the player and your teammates is not necessarily a bad thing, though I think it should be optional, but this is ridiculous. As for Insurgents, while unarmored characters should be more vulnerable, insta-kills shouldn't be common. And even for Chinese characters, the insta-death reaction should be far less frequent. After one hit, they should go into a slower, wounded state of behavior, similar to what we have in Soldier of Fortune 2 or Payback, and on the next hits, they should go into the disabled state. The key idea should be easy to bring down, but harder to kill. Characters who react to a hit, on death, will moan during the disabled state, and will comment during the fight. For the most part, the hit reactions are short and not particularly exciting, and while moans during the disabled state are a good call, gut-wrenching screams should be there too. A few more things about the sound responses. The responses for you and your teammates are also somewhat of a mixed bag. They can vary from nice screams to indifferent hit comments that are by no means the appropriate response for taking a bullet.
I'm hit. Enemy.
For Insurgents, there are no response sounds whatsoever.
The RPG threat has been eliminated.
Target pacified.
Clear.
And while I rarely criticize the acting itself, this is simply bad. So how does it feel? It feels that the game had the potential to deliver something amazing. By the damage-wise, you got all the features for a great response. You have a lot of gory variations and several different responses for bullet impacts. and animation-wise you have very decent initial responses and a glorious disabled state. The features are there, yet because of activation issues, Red River is not nearly as responsive as it could have been. The environment aspect, however, is a complete fail, and I have no idea what the hell they were thinking. So the score for body damage is 14 out of 30. The score for environment is 2 out of 30. The score for animations and sounds is 14 out of 30. I give the feel a score of 4 out of 10. So this gives the gore system of Operation Flashpoint Red River a score of 34 out of 100. With decent blood spinning, a consistent damage model, and proper activation for the body damage, Red River could have easily been one of the goriest, most responsive games I've ever reviewed. With several changes to the gameplay, it could have also been one of my personal favorites. Ditch the scripted bullshit, improve the AI, and let the players plan the missions and approach the goals with the means they have. The groundwork for a somewhat realistic gritty war game about US forces in a modern setting is there, but this game does not deliver, and I'm still waiting for something that will. That's it for today. Let me know how you feel in the comment section, and if you like the video, subscribe and share it around. If you wanna help keep the content coming and get rewards in return, the Patreon link is in the description below. Until next time.